So in a recent video, somebody commented, I think it was on my Switch OLED unboxing, David, why are you not talking about the Xbox's implosion or whatever? First of all, I've been talking about it plenty in previous videos, especially those videos that relate to PlayStation quite literally killing physical media as of 2028. I know, it was going to happen sooner or later, but I still don't fully agree with it. But I'm not going to ramble about that, at least not right now. But yeah, so I have talked about the Xbox situation, but I haven't talked about my thoughts on it. So I figured, why not make a video doing just that? My name is David DeFranco, and welcome back to another video on my channel. This is a variety channel. If you want to subscribe, feel free to do so. I create a lot of video game related content, vlogging content, tech content. If it's out there, it's likely here. Except for religion and politics, I don't discuss that because anytime you have an opinion on that, people quite literally lose their minds. Anyway, guys, I love my gaming. I've been a gamer for as long as I can quite literally remember. Guys, I'm talking like a little baby version of David playing his little NES in his parents' bedroom. And yes, I've even played ColecoVision, Atari, all that stuff because of my dad having history with gaming before I was even born, you know, back in the 70s. Okay, hold on, I'm not that old. I was born in the 80s, but my dad was gaming in the 70s. So yes, I have been gaming for as long as I possibly can be. Video games to me are just that important. Like, I love video games as much as I love my movies and my TV shows. It's a form of entertainment. It's a temporary escape from things going on in the real world, whether it's world issues, bills, maybe a death in the family, whatever. Like, video games are a great escape. And if anybody ever tells you that you're too old to be a gamer, do me a favor and slap them in the face and say it's from me. Guys, I will take the responsibility that comes along with that terrible, terrible action. Let's focus on Xbox. Okay, Xbox, for me, is still a great brand. I have been with Xbox since the beginning. I will never forget, I think it was during the ZDTV days or Tech TV, whatever it was called back then, where Bill Gates took the stage and I was watching some kind of news segment or a recap event, basically showing Bill Gates on stage. Wasn't he with The Rock? He may have been with The Rock. Let me see. OG Xbox intro, The Rock. Yeah, wow. It's so funny how there are certain things you just never forget. Okay, so it was during CES, it looks like. Right there. Dude, that is so cool. That is so awesome. Yo, that takes me back. Anyway, the fact that Xbox/Microsoft were entering an already somewhat saturated gaming market was a huge deal. Huge deal. I mean, they were quite literally going head to head with Sony as well as Nintendo. But Xbox was bringing something different to the table. They were bringing true online gaming with Xbox Live, which, by the way, at the time, blew my mind. I will never forget how giddy I was, how happy I was. I couldn't stop smiling when I was playing the demo that came in my OG Xbox for Fusion Frenzy. Remember that game? I never owned the game, but I played the demo. Back then, it was a huge deal to talk with your voice without having to press a button. That was a massive, massive deal back then because even before the Xbox had Xbox Live, I was gaming on my PS2 because I had the 56K adapter and I think eventually the broadband adapter, I forget. But I was obsessed with SOCOM Navy SEALs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you had to hold the button to actually talk, right? Guys, let's get away from that for a little bit. The point is, Xbox was a big deal for me. I've been there since day one. I love the OG Xbox. Xbox 360, in some people's eyes, was peak gaming in regards to online gaming and whatever. While I might agree, yeah, we had a great run with the Xbox 360, the whole Red Ring of Death thing aside. We had the COD era, you know, Call of Duty, Xbox Live, like everything about that era just feels better. But then again, that's the nostalgia speaking, and just because something is older doesn't mean it's better. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I myself have tried to go back to playing Modern Warfare 2. Hot take, guys, and please destroy me in the comments, I don't care. Modern Warfare 2 does not age well. Like, it quite literally does not age well. Keep that game in the past because it's just not, I don't know, it doesn't play as well as today's CODs do. But we're not going to talk about that too much. And then, of course, the Xbox One. That was a big deal because Xbox was kind of forcing the Kinect on all of their consumers, myself included. And honestly, I was all for that notion, even though in the back of my head, I knew it was a bad idea because You should never force an accessory onto your consumers, especially an accessory that has a camera. You know, a camera that can see you and listen to you, because they were huge on the Kinect and motion sensor thing. And yeah, it was cool. It was really cool, saying like Xbox on and everything. Like, that was a big deal. And I still think it was a great vision for Xbox to have, you know? But to force it on their consumers was a bad idea, especially considering it was going up against the PlayStation 4 at the time. And let's not forget the classic video where, you know, Sony came out and says, this is how you share your PS4 games. He hands the game over. Thanks. Because that was back when Xbox was doing the whole thing with DRM and trying to force you to be online and not lend copies of games to other players with different consoles. It was a mess. And honestly, I hate to say it, but that was the beginning of the end for the Xbox brand. Because since then, it's been a really hard uphill battle for them, especially considering the Xbox Series X. Yeah, it's a great console. I still have mine. I don't really use it that much right now, but I will be using it when Halo Campaign Evolved comes out and Gears of War E-Day. Those games are going to be fantastic. But as of right now, my Series X doesn't get much playtime, only because I love my PC and I love my PS5, and occasionally I'll play my Switch too. But then again, a true gamer has the choice. I'm not going to play favorites. I've made that very clear in this channel. So yeah, the Series X and Series S, they're doing okay, but they could be doing much, much better. And it also doesn't help that both of those consoles launched during the pandemic, which certainly didn't help Xbox's case at all. And then fast forwarding to today with PlayStation announcing the demise of physical media starting in 2028, which, in other words, by the way, is likely when the PlayStation 6 is being released. Guys, I mean, the writing is on the wall. Like, it's on their freaking eyelids if they just look up a little bit. Xbox, this is your chance to come out and say, players, we have listened to your feedback regarding Sony's terrible decision. We are going to give you the choice of physical media with Project Helix when it releases in 2028. Even if it's a detachable, you know, optional CD drive accessory, Blu-ray drive accessory, then so be it. At least they're giving us the option of having the physical drive and the option of buying physical games. So those are my thoughts on the whole Xbox versus PlayStation thing going on right now. But I do want to back up a little bit. I went ahead in my notes, as always. I've got my notes right here so I don't get off track. But guys, I get off track all the time because I just love my video games. Like, I absolutely love my video games so much. So rewinding a bit, in case you've been hiding under a rock on Windows Hill, that right there is a reference to my OG viewers. Xbox has been going through a major reset, and they're even calling it a reset, thanks to the new CEO stepping in, Asha Sharma. Hopefully I said that correctly. She's already done the following. She has announced 3,200 layoffs. 3,200 layoffs. That's a lot of people. And I'm not laughing at that. Shiloh is going up against my legs. Shiloh, chill. Give me space, my dude. Give me space. With already 1,600 layoffs happening, there are an additional 1,600 layoffs coming later this year. So first of all, my heart goes out to anyone who lost their job at Xbox. That's gotta suck. Just think, if you were one of those lucky employees who has not lost their job already, you might be saying to yourself, well, who's to say I'm safe come October or November, whenever the additional 1,600 layoffs are coming? Like, that's gotta be a scary feeling. Just knowing you're putting your heart and your soul into your work at Xbox, you know, with layoffs quite literally looming over your head, and you're wondering, like, is this worth it? Like, I'm putting all this time in, but I might not be here in 2 or 3 months. That's gotta be a sucky feeling. It's gotta be a sucky feeling, but at the same time, at least Asha Sharma is being transparent. And, I mean, it's not going to come as a surprise when more layoffs happen later this year. So, yeah, it sucks, but layoffs unfortunately have to happen when you're doing a major restructuring, because I think it was, like 14 layers of management were at Xbox? 14 layers of management. Okay, so picture this. Imagine an idea is born at the bottom, but then it's got to go through 13 more layers of management. And then by the time it reaches the top, in theory, the CEO or the board, or I don't know how it works over at Xbox. Guys, ideas can get lost between the bottom and the top. There could be confusion. There could be pros and cons that come with that. Pros, I mean, yeah, there's a ton of control. But cons, I mean, 14 layers of management, some thoughts and outlook based on someone's creativity is going to get lost between all those layers. So 14 layers of management is just embarrassingly bad. I can't imagine having an idea, then passing it through 13 additional layers of management. That just doesn't make sense. And I'm glad Asha Sharma is quite literally stepping in and just getting rid of those layers of management and minimizing it down to what, like 3 or 4? Which is more than fair. 3 or 4 layers of management sounds like a great idea to me. All right, so what else has Xbox done? Well, they've recently sold off 4 of their gaming studios, essentially freeing those studios to become independent. So it's not like they're shutting down studios. I mean, here and there that's going to happen, but they are quite literally releasing 4 of their biggest Xbox game studios and while just letting them go off on their own and be creative, do their own thing. So I think that's good. It takes pressure off of Xbox, takes pressure off of these game studios. I think that's a win-win. And most importantly of all, for the consumers, Game Pass Ultimate, the pricing was lowered from $30 down to $23. Yeah, $7, it's not a huge difference, but considering how expensive everything is, $7 isn't gonna hurt, especially if you're already, someone like me and you're paying for other services like Netflix, Hulu, my Squarespace, Gmail, iCloud, like Canva. I pay for so many services a month, and I look at my checking account sometimes and I'm like, damn, I spent a lot of money on these services. So props to Xbox, and of course props to Asha Sharma specifically for getting the price down. Now, will that price go up eventually? Perhaps, but enjoy what you can get while it lasts. Okay, so first of all, it's important to acknowledge the fact that Xbox is not giving up, unlike Sega when they announced the unfortunate demise of the Dreamcast console, thanks to the PlayStation 2. And I loved the PS2. I'm not going to play favorites here. Fine, maybe a little bit, but I will say this. The Dreamcast, guys, I feel bad for you if you've never experienced a Dreamcast. The Dreamcast for me will always be one of the greatest video game consoles of all time. It was just truly groundbreaking at the time. This is back when we had a huge leaps in graphics and overall performance. And I will never forget going to GameStop one night at the Deptford Mall in Jersey, and the kiosk was there, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get to play Ready to Rumble Boxing, Sonic Adventure. Back then, those graphics blew me away. Ready to Rumble Boxing, I'll never forget seeing the boxer's skin like stretch when they, did the hook or whatever. Like, mind-blowing stuff. We didn't have anything like that beforehand. Except for maybe on Turok 2 on the N64. That commercial for that game blew my mind as a kid because they had this monster and you could see its neck stretching. I'm telling you guys, I've got a ton of video game knowledge and whatever in history, and I love referencing stuff like that because not everybody can reference stuff like that. I was born in '85. By the time I was gaming, I was, 3-4 years old. It was '88, '89. And I was enjoying my NES. I was enjoying the Genesis. I was enjoying the Super Nintendo Genesis. Or I just said Genesis twice, but you know what I mean. Like, I was enjoying, guys, I was there at the Game Gear. I had a Game Boy Pocket. I've experienced the rebirth of gaming, and I'm just so proud to say that. Now, you can't help when you're born, but I'm just saying I'm glad I was born, in 1985, because it was a great year, and it was after all the Atari drama happened, and, there comes, the NES to save the gaming industry, quite literally, save the gaming industry. So anyway, going back, at least Microsoft is not pulling a Sega and pulling out of the hardware business. I'll never forget just reading the news one day. It was on our HP Media Center PC or whatever it was back then. And I read the news saying that Sega was ending production of Dreamcast hardware and they're completely exiting the hardware business and they're going to become third party. In other words, Sonic games and whatever are going to be on Xbox and PlayStation. And sad day. Really, really sad day. Now, looking back, it's not the worst thing because we have more options these days. I mean, at least in regards to Sega software running on things like the Switch. That's a beautiful thing, right? But to say goodbye to the Dreamcast and the VMU unit and SegaNet and all that stuff, it was a sad time. Like, Phantasy Star Online was my first MMO ever, and that game will always mean the world to me. As well as Sonic Adventure, and Crazy Taxi, and Quake 3 Arena, and NFL 2K. Like, I loved playing NFL 2K on my Dreamcast with the optional keyboard accessory. You could actually text chat with your opponents. That was a big deal back then on a console. So anyway, I'm saying all this for a reason. We need competition in the market. We don't need Microsoft exiting the hardware business. Any person who wishes ill on the Xbox brand is not a true gamer. We need someone competing directly with PlayStation. Nintendo, who cares? I mean, I love them, but who cares? They are way, way over there in their own market, completely dominating with the Switch 2. But without Microsoft, we've only got PlayStation and the Switch 2. Do we really want a gaming market where the Switch 2 is over there succeeding on its own, and then PlayStation quite literally turning into a monopoly, forcing you to pay full price for games that came out 4 years ago digitally, but physically you can buy games for like, no joke, like 80% off, like $20, $30? We can't support that. We need competition. And of course, with Xbox staying in that console race, that could put some pressure onto Sony to potentially change their mind, which between you and me, I don't think they're gonna do. But hey, maybe, just maybe, Xbox will come forward and say, well, like I said in the beginning of this video, gamers, we've got you. We're going to give you the choice. We're not killing physical media. We're going to give you the choice of physical and buying online via the Xbox store with maybe an optional disc attachment. Guys, if I had to pay $99 for an extra disc attachment for an Xbox console, then I'll do so, because at least it's there. Yes, it might not be included in the box, but who cares? It's an option. And guys, having the option is pretty much the whole consensus of this whole thing. We need options. Otherwise, Sony has complete and total control over our buying habits in the future. And that's why I'm making this video. Yeah, it sucks for people losing their jobs at Xbox, but this whole restructuring thing, it's a good thing. Trust me, it's a good thing. It sucks for people who have lost their jobs, but let's face it, if they're working at Xbox, they're likely extremely talented, so they can take their work to other brands in Silicon Valley, or well, I guess Washington or whatever. Yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. These are very talented individuals. These are not your average people that you see every day on the streets. No offense. And I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about like, these are really smart people, like engineers and everything. I mean, I can say this with confidence. I think they're gonna get back on their feet. But like I say in my last part of the note, for things to get better, they have to get worse first. And that is the truth. Things have to get bad first, at least from a corporation's perspective, before they get better. Otherwise, Xbox is just gonna keep trying and trying. I mean, without any big changes, nothing's going to change. Yeah, people are canceling their PlayStation Plus subs, but do you really think that's gonna make a difference in the long run? I hate to tell you this, no. You know why? Because it's the vocal minority complaining about this sort of thing. PlayStation is still gonna dominate with the PlayStation 6, I guarantee you. This always takes me back to last year when everybody was dissing the Switch 2. Oh, it just looks like the Switch 1, but a little better. This thing's gonna flop. It quickly turned into the fastest selling video game console of all time. Just because you see people pushing back, revolting and whatever online, unfortunately, that's not a direct representation of things going on in the real world. Just because you're canceling your subscription for PlayStation Plus, that doesn't mean it's gonna make a difference. It's just not, sadly, because, well, at the end of the day, it comes down to the dollar. These corporations are there to make money, and I don't blame them, but we're just gonna have to see what happens. But I can hope. I mean, Xbox, look at PlayStation's moves that they're making right now. Take that as an opportunity and give us at least one more generation of physical media. Because I guarantee you this, if you give gamers a choice of physical media, millions of gamers will choose Xbox over PlayStation for their next-gen console. Right? What do you think? Whew. Passionate video. I love this stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts right below, and I'll talk to you later.